So hi everyone, my name's Antonia. I'm currently the project officer for the Windrush Cymru, Our Voices, Our Stories, Our History project. And so Black history is incredibly important. Critically, it's not something which is taught as part of the mainstream British curriculum. So many people don't know that long before slavery, Black and minority people have been contributing to British culture and the economy for centuries. And an awareness of this is something which we must all strive to change. The promotion of this history is more important than ever to highlight the presence of Black and minority people in Britain. This is a prominent and proud history that predates the Tudors and goes as far back as the 3rd century. It isn't a history which starts with slavery and ends with the Windrush generation. These are relatively recent histories. So this event, or any event that promotes Black history, is incredibly important. With Race Council Cymru's new Black History Wales programme, which goes on throughout the year, we can really start to unearth a fuller history and celebrate the people that make Britain great.
Hi, I'm Cindy Ikia, the Black Lives Matter Wales National Campaigns Manager, and it is a great honour to be able to represent the Black Lives Matter Wales collective here today. I apologise that I can't be with you today, but I look forward to working closely with Black History Wales 365 throughout the upcoming year, because Black people are not a monolith and there is so much history that is yet to be discovered. We have artists and dancers, we have singers and writers, we have poets, philosophers, we have politicians and scientists, astronomers. There are a myriad of excellent Black people who are praiseworthy because of their contributions to Welsh society, either be they in the past or in the current day. And Black History Wales 365 is that awareness that we have all been craving for, that awareness that Black people are not a monolith and that they are valuable members of society and that they ought to be celebrated every single day. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Fikala Jean Samuel. I'm an African contemporary painter and I live in Bangor Gwynedd in North Wales. I've been a member of the Bangor Art Initiative since 2015. The Bangor Art Initiative is a local charity that promotes local artists and emerging artists. My years in the Bangor Art Initiative, we have always celebrated the Black History Month in a very grand style and with a lot of respect. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic this time, things may be a bit different. Nevertheless, we still have a plan. As an African contemporary painter, my primary source of inspiration is the African culture, the African ways of life. And I'm lucky that I come from a place with a rich cultural heritage, the culture of the Bantu people in the northwest region of Cameroon. At the heart of this culture is the African mask, an object that we do not only look as a source of entertainment or decoration, but it embodies the spirit of the African ancestors. The African mask carries more than what appears on top. During the Black History Month, I'm going to do a series of art workshops. Some of them will include the making of the African mask with local material and also painting of some African scenes. This initiative will happen thanks to the Gwynedd Council Welsh Church Fund and we are very grateful for them. On behalf of the Bango Art Initiative, I wish everybody a great Black History Month, and best regards to all. Thank you.
Too many days in the darkness, without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight. I see you broken and beat, head pulled down over your eyes. Every part of you wants to surrender, but darling, you were meant to survive. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. Just like a seed in a garden, you will grow to be tall, staring out over miles of land without it, but wanting to build up walls. Lift me up in your branches, we can watch the sunrise. Just a couple of bruised up souls that believe that it was worth one more try. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart and spend less time in your head. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head.
Diversity is encouraged across all parts of the MOD. It's about the value that people bring to the organisation.
Irrespective of their background, their culture, their gender, their ethnicity, sexual orientation, everyone has to be valued for what they bring to the table.
It is very much an institution which engenders equality, opportunity, and enhances its individuals professionally and personally in a way that I'm not aware of in other workplaces.
There is real value in having a diverse workforce.
You get a broad range of skills, personalities, attributes, and everyone brings something different, and it's always enjoyable to hear about their story and where they've come from.
When I joined the Army from St. Vincent, it was a massive culture shock. What the Army provides is that support for soldiers of all different backgrounds.
I've been welcomed and appreciated for what I bring.
I don't feel I've been hindered in any way from experiencing the vast array of opportunities that the Army offers.
As long as you're honest with yourself, the military is massively inclusive. It's allowed me to be more comfortable about the person I actually am. It's also allowed me to have an influence on other people's lives and made them feel more comfortable about their sexuality.
They encourage you to be who you are, and that is how they get best out of us. In times of difficulties, they are there for you. In times of trouble, they will support you.
I can speak to somebody who has understanding of my upbringing and my culture, my belief system, and that's really important.
As a Rastafarian, I believe in love and honesty, and that is something that the armed forces practice within the standards and values.
Valuing our people is at the core of everything we do. Our people are our strength.
And it supports not just the forces, but their families as well.
So I feel valued, supported, and also encouraged. I do what I love doing. I enjoy getting up and go to my job because I know we are a big family and we support each other.
It's that sense of family, that sense of belonging. That's what really motivates me every single day I go to work.
I get to learn, I get to socialize, and I get to have fun.
Okay. Hello, Wales. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's give a wave to the whole of Wales. And welcome to the official launch of Black History Wales 365, opening a Black History Month. We are saying Black History Month matters, but we're saying Black history is part of Welsh history and should be 365 days of the year. We have a packed agenda. Everybody's ready on live stream. You're welcome all around the world. We can see people checking in from different parts, from Malta, from Nigeria, from Jamaica, from St. Kitts. We can see people coming online from England. You are all welcome. And all the people of Wales salute you. We welcome specially and pay tribute at the very beginning to Patty Flynn, our Black History patron who passed away recently. We dedicate the Black History events for 2020 into 2021 to her and all our patrons, as well as those who are here with us and those who have gone before us. Straight away, I just want to highlight that this year, the theme is 2000 Nations. We want to recognize Black people's contribution to arts, culture, history, music, engineering, academia, industry, medicine, in the NHS. Black people have made a real difference to Welsh history and Welsh society. So I warmly welcome all our guests, all our funders, everybody on the screen, everybody on live stream. Welcome. I just want to thank the Arts Council Wales for their unstinting support over the years, and to Welsh Government for hosting this event. Our First Minister, Matt Drakeford, Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, Jane Hutt, and all the members of Welsh Government. Von Gethin will be live speaking, Lord David Ellis, and all the Welsh Government ministers, Julie Morgan, who are here to support and salute. We have dignitaries from all over. We are thankful for the presence of the Lord Lieutenant as well, and we will come to introduce them all. The Queen has sent her representative, so we are complete here. Thank you so much. Can I just say from the start, my name is Uzo Iwobi. I'm just going to be very strict today. It's 2 minutes to each person, and I may cut you in, but please don't be offended. We got to keep this agenda rolling. I'll give you the list of all the sponsors who made this happen, because Black History is not funded fully. So we want to thank the Deputy Minister and Chief Whip for providing us with funding to cover our admin and a marketing manager for the whole year program. And then we also want to thank Arts Council for their funding for artists and the whole programming on the arts front. We want to thank Heritage Lottery for their funding, for the armed forces who have partnered with us. I will reel out all the partners: the British Armed Forces, the British Legion, the Museum of Military Medicine, Cardiff Metropolitan University, Coastal Housing, Admiral Group, Police and Crime Commissioners David Llewellyn, and Police and Crime Commissioner of Gwent, and Police and Crime Commissioner of South Wales, Alan Michael. All these commissioners have supported us, Jeff Cuthbert, and I thank all our partners. I can't go into them because time is against me, but you will have listings online from everyone. We welcome our Windrush elders. We celebrate all of you. We welcome our Black History patrons and our Black History champion. You will hear their voices or hear comments from them through the day. So right away, let me not waste any more time. I just warmly welcome the chair, the first commissioner to the Commission for Racial Equality, the first judge appointed in Wales, who is Asian, fantastic chair, Judge Ray Singh CBE, Chair of Race Council. Over to you, Chair.
Kumar, thank you, Uzo. Prananda, good afternoon, everyone. Namaste, assalamu alaikum. And it's a special day, so I will say good afternoon in a very general language. Ekasan, Bawoloa, Ekuda Odun, Oju, Omenira, Ni Nigeria. That's one of the many languages in Nigeria. Happy anniversary, Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Chair. We are wanting to reserve all our time to give tribute to our ancestors. Is Cliff DePass in the house today? Because he's going to deliver our ancestral tribute, which is customary at every Black History event. Is Cliff in the house, please? Our brother Cliff DePass, is he online?
I am, yes.
Over to you, brother, to deliver the ancestral tribute.
Thank you very much, Uzo. I'll try and read as quickly as I can.
Thank you.
It is truly an honor and a privilege to be leading this ancestral tribute. Now, on occasions such as these, I believe it is critical that we remain as authentic to our cultural practices as possible. One aspect of that is the spiritual dimension to our lives as African heritage people. Hence, I will start by acknowledging the presence of the divine, known by many names, for guiding us during these difficult times and for bringing us safely together. Another important aspect of our culture is our eldership protocol. I therefore wish to acknowledge our elders and pay tribute to all our elders wherever they are. Today we bear witness to their enormous courage, their resilience and fortitude. We continually pay tribute and honor their struggles. We give thanks for their continued wisdom, spiritual, ethical, and moral guidance. Now to the ancestral tribute. I will venerate the ancestors by calling out. Today we stand dignified and proud as we pay tribute to the indomitable spirit and legacy of our ancestors. I invite everyone to go in the privacy of your own minds, to slow yourselves down and find a peaceful place inside. And if you can remember the humanity, the glory, and the suffering of our ancestors, please remember their names. Remember why they fought such honorable fights for freedom and justice for all humanity. So from the north to the south, from the east to the west, from the bottom of oceans and seas, we remember them. From the tops of mountains over hills and valleys, we salute and honor them. We salute the spirit of our ancestors whose blood runs through our veins. We pay tribute and honor the courage of our ancestors who died in foreign lands. We salute our ancestors who died in the Middle Passage. We honor our ancestors whose names are unknown or forgotten. We salute great ancestors such as Carter G. Woodson, whose vision inspired Black History Wales 365. We remember Frederick Douglass, James Baldwin, Steve Biko, Paul Robeson, and countless others. Here in Cardiff, we remember our beloved Mama Betty Campbell and her commitment to young people, education and community. We remember the spirit of Mama Angela Barnes and Mama Patty Flynn. May their light continues to brighten our path. Let us be inspired by the audacity of Muhammad Ali, who declared himself the greatest and had the confidence to actually become the greatest. We salute the courage and defiance of Rosa Parks, who chose to sit on the bus so we can stand with pride and dignity. We remember the magical voice of Prophet Robert Nesta Marley, imploring us to stand up and fight for our rights, at the same time pleading one love and inviting us to reconnect with Mama Africa. We remember the love and compassion of Mary Seacole, Malcolm X and his commitment to self-determination, and his refusal not to be confined by prison walls. We pay tribute to Martin Luther King and his unquenchable quest for social justice, freedom, and liberty. The vision and belief and philosophy of the Right Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Up, you mighty race, you can accomplish whatever you wish. The warrior spirit of Mama Winnie Mandela. The humanity and compassion of Nelson Mandela. The awesome Maya Angelou. You may write us down in history with your bitter, twisted lies, but still like dust we rise. Truly we stand on the shoulders and walk in the footsteps of powerful ancestors. We ask that their qualities and characters continue to inspire us to greatness. Now let us take a few moments to remember those personal ancestors in our own personal lineage. Our parents, our grandparents, our brothers, our sisters, our best friends. Those people who have personally enriched and touched our lives. In the everlasting memory of the anguish of our ancestors, may those who die rest in peace and rise in power and glory. May those who return find their roots. They shall grow not old, as those that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them nor condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elder Cliff DePass. Thank you very much. Straight into Alicia Scott, who is going to open the performance today.
Blessed love, this is Alicia Scott, and this is my brand new single called Bad Lover, and it goes like this. Since I saw his face, I must admit he caught me. And I know he loves the chase, but ever since I saw him, can't get him out my mind. That man is so damn fine. But he's a I could replace the way he's got me feeling, even if it's some mistake, 'cause it's my heart he's stealing. I'm running out of time, that man I had to find. But he's a bad lover. He's a bad lover, yeah. He's a bad lover, and he loves too bad for me.
Hello, Alicia. Yeah, we're waiting
Hello.
on your video.
Okay.
And thank you so much for joining us and for
Thanks for having me.
performing your brand new track for us. Can
Thank
we
you.
see you, Alicia, and just say, how does it feel to be part of Black History this year?
It's a real honour, and I really love the initiative of the 365 because Black History is 365 days a year and not just for 1 month. So it's very nice that we're starting as we mean to go on, which is great.
Thank you so much. We've seen you performing on festivals. We saw you just being bigged up in festivals this year. And in Jamaica, you've been traveling all around the world, really performing. We're excited that you come from Wales. Thank you so much for your work. I just want to introduce all our new patrons. The new patrons, whilst we're waiting for Alicia's video, we want to welcome officially to the Hall of Patrons for Black History, the lovely Nikki Delgado, who's on the screen. So give a wave. And Mama Geraldine Trotman, who has been an absolute angel and a real champion for Black History. And for those who don't know, Geraldine Trotman is the mother of Liam Rahman, who is being the bedrock and the holding anchor for this Black History work that we do. So big cheer to them as they join the list of patrons. We are so thankful to all our sponsors and our supporters. We, excuse me, we want to thank Unison Black members for sponsoring us. And we want to thank all our partners. We want to thank you all who have done such a great work. Our partnership with the Armed Forces, with the Royal Air Force, Royal Navy, Royal Marines, and the British 160th Welsh Brigade, led by Brigadier Andrew Dawes, have been, we've signed this amazing covenant to support the service of the armed forces to all of our humanity, and especially the Black and ethnic minority people who are serving within the armed forces, to support their families and to support the work that you do to protect us all. So we're delighted to partner with you and to mention the key role of the Royal Commonwealth Society in supporting the work that we do with the chairperson, Rogero Verma, and all the team there. We thank all the partners like the Cardiff Metropolitan University, the UWTSD, who've always supported us, Admiral PLC. We thank the leadership coaching the firm called Leadership Coaches. Zoe Lewis, you and your team coaching at least 10 Black people. Awesome. We thank you. We thank Welsh Government for your unstinting support for Windrush Elders and for our Black History Committee. We thank the Police and Crime Commissioners in South Wales, in Dyfed-Powys, and in Gwent. We thank all the peoples of Wales who've been tweeting and sharing today. We just wanted to interview Alicia Scott. Alicia, how did creating this piece happen for you? Just in 1 minute, literally. Tell us about the creative process for you, Alicia.
So it was something I'd written a while ago, and I was due to have an album out this year, but due to obviously the pandemic, the album's been pushed back. So we developed this song, got it recorded and then released it during obviously lockdown. So I tried to be as creative at home as possible.
Okay, thank you so much. Alicia, you're a daughter of Wales and we celebrate you and your artistry. You are absolutely magnificent. Please tweet about Alicia and we will share this with all those who are on screen on the live Zoom. So straight away we press on and we go to the Lord Lieutenant of South Glamorgan. We are delighted to have you here representing the Queen, Mrs. Morveth Meredith. Please welcome her. Welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes? Thank you very much. Good. Well, mae'n bleser ymuno chwi y prynhawn yma ar clasur lansio hanes di Cymru ar-lein. I am delighted to join you this afternoon on the occasion of the launch of Black History Wales 2020 online, and thank you so very much for the invitation. It is an accolade to the organisers that so many of us can come together in these amazingly difficult times. First, I would like to extend my condolences to the family and friends of Mrs. Patty Flynn. I had the privilege to meet her last year at the wreath-laying ceremony in Alexander Gardens, and how wonderful that she was able to see her dream fulfilled. I would like to thank all those present who have worked so hard to promote race equality, integration and justice in Wales. It is so important that we work together to champion equality and justice for all in our society, and that we look out for and care for one another at this time in particular, whatever our race or creed. I am sure that you will agree with me that Her Majesty lifted the hearts of the nation with her television address earlier this year. She is someone that the nation turns to in times of need. She's a role model providing stability in times of crisis. She takes a keen interest in and is concerned about her subjects, and all 8 Welsh Lord Lieutenants have reported to Her Majesty during this pandemic, keeping her up to date with developments in our respective counties. When I next report, I will be able to refer to today's launch, which I'm sure she will be particularly pleased to learn about.
Thank you.
My role is an extremely interesting, varied, busy, but worthwhile. And one of the lieutenancy roles is to chair the Magistrates Advisory Committee, which appoints magistrates and deals with conduct issues. And over the past few weeks, I have attended the swearing in of magistrates at Cardiff Crown Court, complying with COVID regulations. We have all had to adapt to the new norm, and our legal system continues to function despite the current challenges. I mentioned this role in particular as recruitment of magistrates is ongoing, and I would like to encourage applicants from your community. No formal qualifications are necessary, but common sense, logical thinking and fair-mindedness are welcome attributes. So do give it some thought, and more information is readily available online. I hope that we can embrace diversity and continue to build on the positive, and in particular, that we can support one another during the current pressures. I wish you well with your important work. Diolch yn fawr am eich cwmni.
Diolch yn fawr, Lord Lieutenant. Brilliant words there. Thank you for your tribute to Patty, our patron. Thank you so much. We straight away want to welcome Professor Mark Drickford, who needs no introduction to the people, to the Black history community. He has been with us long before he became First Minister, but also now that he serves the whole of Wales and leads us through a terrible pandemic. He has demonstrated leadership and support for the elders and for the Black history community. Professor Mark Drickford, we welcome you.
Diolch yn fawr, diolch fel arfer am y cyflwyniad caredig na. Thank you very much indeed for that introduction. I'm so pleased to be here today to celebrate Black History Wales 365. It's an extraordinary year, as you've heard, and it seems very strange indeed to be at this event without having Patty Flynn here as part of it, as she has been for so many years, and it is absolutely fitting that the programme of events are dedicated to her memory and to the support of her family and her friends. The last few months have been sad and difficult for so many people, and it's very fitting that we are able to remember Patty Flynn here today. It is sad, of course, that we're not able to meet face-to-face to celebrate Black History Wales with the energy and the enthusiasm and the excitement that these events have always had as a key characteristic. But despite that, we are able to gather in the way we are, to mark the opportunity that Black History Month gives us, to reflect and to recognise people's stories, and this year in particular, to welcome the approach taken by Council Cymru to build on everything that has been achieved in recent years and to create Black History Cymru 365. And I am very keen to mark that here with you. So you will know that for many years I've had the privilege of sponsoring the part of the programme that provides awards to fantastic young people from the Black community right across Wales. And most years I turn up at the platform and try to say to those remarkable young people that history is not just something about the past. History is something that we make every day, and that those young people in particular, the astonishing contributions that they make, the futures that they are forging for themselves, the actions that we all take today, all of that is what will form the raw material for historians of tomorrow. And in this extraordinary year, one of the utterly remarkable features of it is the way in which Black history in particular is being made and remade in the crucible of the coronavirus crisis. I myself cannot remember a period in which that sense of having to create our own history has been more vivid. And that's powerfully represented in the programme for this event today. And it is hard to express the depth of gratitude that is felt here at the heart of the Welsh Government to those who have stepped forward to help us in the challenges that we face. In the room that I am sitting and talking to you from this afternoon, we have faced some of the most difficult and challenging decisions that have had to be made to protect people here in Wales from this awful and deadly disease. And those are sometimes quite lonely decisions that have to be made. And the ability to go on making them is absolutely buttressed by the fact that when we have needed to ask for help from the wider community in Wales, we have seen people step forward to assist us on that journey. And it is great that this afternoon you will hear, for example, from Gaynor Legal, who is leading our work on the legacy of racism, which is still to be seen commemorated in towns and cities across Wales, and we have to address and make a difference there. You'll be hearing from Professor Charlotte Williams on how we embed Black history in the curriculum that we teach in schools in every part of Wales. You'll be hearing from Professor Emmanuel Ogbonna, who has wrestled with and helped us to understand better the complexities of the socio-economic drivers that still underpin inequality in communities in Wales. And of course, you've heard already from Judge Ray Singh, who has been chairing a group that we have established to make sure that Black voices and Black experiences are directly heard, understood, and make a difference right in the heart of the Welsh Government. Nowhere has that been more important than in recognising the experiences of frontline workers in the health service, in social care, so often drawn from Black communities that have helped so many other people to get through the difficult days that we have seen over the last 6 months. And the work of Professor Kesh Sengal has gone far beyond Wales in the tool that has been developed to make sure that Black frontline workers, that their needs are understood and protections can be built into the system for them too. And in a way that brings us back to why today is so very important, to why Black History Wales and the slate of events that are planned are so important to our future. It's wonderful to see the creative arts at the forefront of this programme, promoting a richer understanding of Black history and changing perspectives on Black culture here in Wales, enriching and changing the lives of Black people, but of course all the rest of us in Wales for the better. That's the platform that's been created for this year's event. It is inspiring, it is challenging, it will reach into the lives of us all. Thank you so much for everything that you are doing to make that happen. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi gyd.
Oh, diolch yn fawr iawn, First Minister, our fantastic First Minister who stands up for all the peoples of Wales, white, black, of all colors. We thank you, we celebrate your leadership, and you talk a lot about distributed leadership, how we all lead in our sectors in championing Wales to the world. So we salute you, sir, and we look forward to more from you as the year goes through. And we welcome now Shavana Taj, Acting General Secretary of the Wales TUC. Shavana, just 2 minutes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just wanted to really say a quick couple of things, and that is that it's wonderful that the decision has been taken that Black History is no longer celebrated only for the month of October, but it is something that we do on a daily basis, and it is something that we are taking the lead on here in Wales. And I think that a lot of this, as far as Wales is concerned, this has happened as a result of the organisation behind the event today and many of the other individuals that have really pushed for this to happen. I think that at this moment in time, it's a period of reflection as well as looking forward in terms of what we do. And actually, as far as the trade union movement is concerned as well, we have lost a number of significant and extremely important individuals, trade union reps, men and women, several people during this difficult time, including Donna Campbell, who was a trade union rep for Unison, one of the unions that have sponsored the event today. And I think that right now we are, as I say, I think from my perspective, I think that we spend a lot of time talking about oppression and brutality, and we talk about a lot of the difficult things, but it is also really important that we do talk about joy, that we do talk about Black excellence, that we do talk about Black leadership, and we do talk about the positives and the wonderful and amazing things that people are doing and the groundbreaking work that is currently taking place. But equally, I think that it is also a time, and the TUC itself has now just recently taken a decision to, again, we've had, it's been a long time since Stephen Lawrence was murdered and killed. At that time, the TUC set up the Stephen Lawrence Task Force group. They have now revisited that and actually have taken a decision that we need to have a period of, we need to be talking to our reps and our activists within every single workplace, but we also need to have a period of internal reflection. And we need to actually understand that within the union movement as well, we haven't got everything right. There is, you know, structural inequalities, racism, discrimination within our own structures too. So it's extremely important that we have that moment. And the great thing about this task force is that it is being led by Dr. Patrick Roach, who is the General Secretary of the NASUWT. And I'm sure that he is going to be visiting Wales and want to engage with many of you. But I think that right now, for me, this is the extremely important moment in Wales, because we've had a government that has been willing to engage with the Black community in Wales. It's been prepared to have the difficult conversations, and it's interesting to see what happens next, because lots of different recommendations have been made, lots of really important work has been done, but what happened next in terms of how we make that a reality and how we take that next step forward, that is going to be the big task ahead of us. But for this moment in time, I just say to everyone, self-care and appreciation, that is what we should be doing. And sometimes it's important to allow other people to do some of the heavy lifting around us as well. Those collaborators, those allies, it is time for you to step forward too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shavana Taj. Absolutely wonderful. And a big celebration to your husband, Nigerian Independence Day. So we warmly welcome Professor Charlotte Williams, OBE, Chair of a ministerial working group looking at diversifying the curriculum. Over to you, Professor Charlotte Williams.
Thank you very much, and I'm delighted to be part of this opening of Black History Wales 2020. It's really great to reconnect with my community and with old friends and with colleagues. We are indeed living in very extraordinary times that are impacting on all of us. And the COVID pandemic and this year's events, including the murder of George Floyd and the global response, Black Lives Matter, has prompted us to have some deep thinking and reflection in our own countries about racial injustice and racial inequality. And there is unequivocal evidence in Wales that there is racial inequality in our education system. But I think it's really progressive that this government have established this working group now to have a look at schools in terms of how they can deepen and improve the teaching of themes related to Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities, contributions and experiences past and present. And I'm very, very honoured to be leading this group that was established by the Education Minister, Kirsty Williams, to consider what is going on in our schools, to have a look at what resources are available to advance a deeper understanding and a deeper acknowledgement of the contributions of Black and ethnic minorities in Wales, past and present. We've talked about Black History Wales being about recognising and valuing contributions, and I too want to acknowledge the great contribution that Patty Flynn made right across Wales. She's a fabulous jazz singer, she's a fabulous personality and a fabulous activist, and we know that she fought very hard to, having lost her own father and her brother in World War II, she campaigned very hard with others to have this memorial to Black and minority ethnic servicemen and women established, and she was successful in that. And that's just one example of a contribution of many contributions across Wales that we want recognised by the nation's children. The new school curriculum has 4 purposes, and one of those I was delighted to see is that we want to support all learners across Wales to become ethical and informed citizens of Wales, the world, and this underpins what the new curriculum is trying to do. So we've been tasked with reviewing the learning resources that are available, and looking at professional development will be required in order to make this transformation in our schools. And the goal will be that this new curriculum will become a shining example of resourcing and enabling broad engagement in learning and teaching with Black and Asian and minority ethnic contributions past and present. And our vision now will be that every pupil in schools across Wales, as ethical and informed citizens of Wales, will have the opportunity to explore the diverse experiences and contributions of our communities, and that accordingly every teacher right across the curriculum, irrespective of the subject area, will be equipped and resourced to meet these expectations in the design of their curriculum and in their pedagogical practice.
That's it.
This is a challenge. This is a challenge because what we would like to see is that every teacher understands the origins and manifestations of racism. They feel supported and enabled to build such a curricula, and that they feel supported and enabled to place these contributions within the wider context of the history and development of Wales as a multicultural society. We have a very rich and diverse history in Wales, and acknowledging this will be critical to the well-being as a whole. So I applaud this Black History Wales 365 because we believe that it's going to build this national consciousness that's going to be a consistent and important reminder of the significance of this effort. So join with me as a collective effort in making this happen. Thank you, Uzo.
Thank you so much, Professor Williams. Professor Williams is meeting with the whole of the Black History Management Committee to talk more about the important work that she's doing. And right now we want to warmly welcome Brigadier Andrew Dawes, CBE, who is the new commander at the headquarters of 160th Welsh Brigade. He represents the Royal Air Force, the Royal Navy, the Royal Marines, and the whole body of the British Armed Forces, who are our covenant. You know, we've signed your covenant and you have sponsored this event. So over to you. Welcome, Brigadier.
Well, good afternoon, Lord Lieutenant, First Minister, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, Brigadier Andrew Dawes here representing the Armed Forces in Wales. And can I just start by thanking you very much indeed for allowing me to say a few words at this spectacular launch event. I'm very, very grateful indeed. I think, as has been touched on earlier, this year has seen considerable disruption to our lives across many sort of levels, and events like this, I think, you know, serve as an opportunity to bring people together as a community to focus on some very real and important issues in our society right now. And the Army are extremely proud, hugely proud to be sponsors of this event for the forthcoming year. I think one effect of the Black History Wales is to ensure that we can take some time to reflect perhaps on how our histories are intertwined, regardless of ethnicity, gender, religion, or other unhelpful discriminators, frankly. The Race Council, community elders, and many of you, all of you, are striving to promote greater inclusivity, tolerance, and understanding, and I really do applaud you all. Thank you all very much indeed for the work that you all do. Indeed, it's very much in line with the values and the standards of the British Army, and we always recognise that our forces have always been made up from people from right around the world, and we have a culture which seeks to ensure that there are no bystanders when it comes to any form of discrimination in today's army. Whilst we are making good headway, I feel, into being more reflective of our society, there is more to be done, much more to be done, to ensure that we become more representative of our communities here in Wales. Just reflecting, in December of last year, we signed the Armed Forces Covenant that you've referred to so warmly with Race Council Cymru, and this has provided the real impetus, I think, that we really needed, the momentum, if you like, to work together to help youngsters in our communities to realise their full potential in whatever they choose to do. And when the COVID restrictions allow, we'll seek to reinvigorate our own Armed Forces employment pathway programme as our small contribution to achieving this. Just reflecting very briefly on Black History 2019, we took part in a dedication of a wonderful monument down in Cardiff that the Professor has mentioned before me last November to remember those African and Caribbean soldiers, sailors, airmen and women from Wales who gave so much during the World Wars. And this support was achieved by the coming together of the Royal British Legion, Royal Commonwealth Society, and of course Cardiff City Council. However, what really sits behind this national monument is years and years of work and campaigning by many people, including the late Mrs. Betty Campbell and Mrs. Patty Flynn, whose family, of course, lost many menfolk during the World Wars. Their determination in working through adversity, never losing sight of goals, I think is an example to us all as to what can be achieved with passion and purpose. But perhaps most significantly, it reminds us that we're stronger when we work together, and surely that must be the message today. Finally, can I just say a big thank you to the elders and the Race Council for bringing us all together today. We welcome this year's launch. We're excited to be involved in it, proud to be sponsors of it, and the Army in Wales is so very grateful for your enduring support. And thank you. May you stay safe in the weeks to come.
Thank you, Brigadier. Absolutely well said. the elders are looking forward to giving you your first hug when they meet you. They do that to all brigadiers. You're not getting away. So a big thank you to all your officers who've supported us. And we're going to be with you live at the monument, COVID restrictions permitting, on the 7th of November to lay our wreaths and also to pay tribute to all who have passed. And I want to now warmly welcome Kyla Brooks, the lead blues singer, incredible talent, who is supporting us this year, won the UK Best Blues Singer and the European one, and picked to represent the United Kingdom in Memphis at the Blues Festival, got right through to quarterfinal, and we're delighted she's prepared a special piece for us today. It will play to all of you out there. We'll pick it up on YouTube after. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, haven't lived the life, Lord. I've lived the life of a blues man's child.
Hello, can I speak to Kyla? Kyla, how does it feel to be described as one of the best blues singer of all time in the UK at this time?
It feels like an incredible accolade, and I'm very, very happy to be here as well with you all today, and extremely pleased to hear about your initiative, 365 initiative, celebrating Black excellence for the whole of the year, every day. It's great.
Thank you. We celebrate the contributions of Black people like yourself to jazz, to music, to blues, to all forms of, Negro spirituals. So we're very grateful to you.
It was brilliant to be able to perform, by the way, with my band.
Thank you.
For you.
Thank you so much. A massive thank you to you, Kyla. We will have you live in Wales, hopefully, when we can see you and talk to you. Thank you so much. Immediately, we're going to go straight up now to, we're going to invite Chantel Horton, the chair of the Black History Wales Management Committee. Chantel, can you make it 1 minute, please? We're really running late on time.
Yes, no problem.
So sorry.
I'm just so happy to be here. It's even though we're in our little silos, there's just a wonderful sense of communitas amongst us. Thank you. It feels great to be here. And I've got a lovely task of announcing that the National Black History Wales Youth Awards 2020 are now open, and it's on their website. So I get to work with wonderful, joyful, resilient, kind young people daily in university and in work and in school. And I think that Cardiff Metropolitan University are really proud to be once again sponsoring the awards. Your nominations, we need your nominations. So we want to recognise and celebrate the achievements and contributions of young people of African and African Caribbean descent to Wales. So please nominate anyone you can for one of the awards. There's some lovely categories below, which we have listed on the website. So please have a look, and there's something there for everyone to celebrate their achievements. We're all looking for nominations, and since 2016, Cardiff Met Uni have been working in partnership with Black History Wales. We're delighted to continue that. But actually we recognise that we still have lots of work to do, especially in the higher education sector in Wales, tackling inequality in our own organisation and across Wales in higher education. So in September, our Vice-Chancellor outlined a significant programme that we need to drive forward to develop culture, inclusive practice, reflective practice, and really to be more diverse in our approaches to the students and the communities we work and seek to serve. So please nominate the wonderful, resilient, kind young people of Wales for our awards.
Thank you so much. Fantastic new chair, who was Mrs. Campbell's student all those years ago. I just want to thank you, Chantel, for your leadership of the committee. Let me warmly welcome Roma Taylor, the founder of the Windrush Cymru Elders. Roma, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Jesus, for what you have done for us all. It is an honor to be asked to address you on this Black History Wales 365 celebrating not only 1 month, but 1 year, 365 days. We are paying homage to the 2,000 groups of African and Caribbean descents who have helped to shape this beautiful nation. The Windrush Cymru Elders will be celebrating Black History Wales 365 throughout the year, and the importance of Windrush and Black history being taught in all schools. We also celebrate and share this rich heritage through the arts here in Wales. We are also paying homage to the memory of our beautiful Black history patron, Patty Flynn, who passed away on the 10th September 2020. May her soul rest in peace. Windrush Cymru Elders, we would like to say thank you to all our RCC staff who have worked tirelessly and supported us all year. We love you and we appreciate what you are doing for us. God bless you all. We would also like to say thank you to Menai Owen Jones for her contribution for a hot meal to be delivered to the elders. God bless you, Menai, for your thoughts and generosity. Thank you. God bless you all.
Oh, Mama Roma, now the music can start. Thank you so much. Fantastic words. Nothing happens without Auntie Roma here. And then now we warmly welcome our Black History patron representing the patrons today, Elaine Clark, who is Mrs. Campbell's daughter. Elaine, please address us.
Hi, very, very short. And it's really a pleasure to be here. So I just wanted to say a few things, and I'm really delighted to now have a Black History Wales 365 instead of a Black History Month. Will highlight and celebrate the achievements and contributions of the Black community throughout the year. And this is a wonderful idea and an opportunity to continue and to ensure the rich heritage of our Black community is remembered and acknowledged. I know that my mother, Betty Campbell, was a passionate believer in children knowing about Black history and the importance of integrating Black heritage within the school curriculum. Her belief that Black history should be taught all year round as part of a truly diverse school curriculum, including and inspiring young people, was crucial for them to have a greater understanding of the struggle for equality. She herself was very proud of her heritage and achievements against the odds and impressed on her pupils, one of which is Chantel Houghton, who just spoke, to be proud of their heritage. And she did this 45 years ago as well, before it was even thought of having Black history in school. So she had a long-term vision, and she started teaching Black history 45 years ago. And she was not afraid to teach at that time the curriculum to include Black history. And she wasn't afraid to talk about and to teach about colonization, slavery, and significant people of color, such as Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Mary Seacole, as well Nelson Mandela, to name but a few. So she was very passionate. She gave her children a rich in-depth of Black history. Her legacy lives on, and I think now there is becoming a greater awareness and a much more diverse curriculum, even after all those years. It's only now beginning to come to fruition. And I think more so, there has been more of an awareness during the Black Lives Matter movement also. Now, it was said about Patty Flynn, and I think it is very fitting to have this 365, Wales 365, dedicated to Patty Flynn. And she was a dear friend of my late mother, Betty Campbell. I know that over 26 years ago, both Patty and my mum, who both lost loved ones, my mum, her father, my grandfather, and Patty, her father and her brother, during the Second World War. And they started a campaign to have a monument dedicated to those Black servicemen. Last November, I was greatly honoured to attend the ceremony to help unveil the memorial erected at Alexandra Gardens. Patty's drive and determination to have a permanent memory was finally a reality. And when we were both there, she said to me, she took me to one side, she said, "It was your mother and myself who started the drive to get this memorial erected." So I felt very touched, and I'm really deeply sorry that she's no longer with us. I look forward to the forthcoming celebratory events over the next year. During this time, it is hoped that the Betty Campbell statue will have been erected, and this will be a fitting tribute for Black History Wales Year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Well said indeed. And right now, we're going to invite Aunt Metcalf, who helped us last year, Area Manager Cymru, the British Legion, and the Royal Commonwealth Society helped to fund and support the Cardiff Council, who got the stone donated and funded the other bits to make that happen. So a big warm welcome to Aunt Metcalf, who helped us last year. Over to you.
Uzo, thank you very much indeed. Lord Lieutenant, Brigadier, honoured guests, it's my absolute pleasure to be here today representing the Royal British Legion here in Wales, and also to formally partner with Black History Wales over the next year of their exciting activities. So we're looking forward to working together with you. As many of you know, and it's already been said, we worked with Race Council Cymru and many others last year to ensure that the memorial was funded and installed at Alexandra Gardens, and it was a really high point of my service to see that memorial unveiled by Patty and others last November. It was utter privilege. It's just a great shame, for my own personal opinion, it took 26 years to get there, but we got there in the end, so it's a great achievement in the end. As you all know, the Legion is a national custodian of remembrance, dedicated to ensuring the service and sacrifice of all those from all communities that fought is remembered. And we want to ensure that that common heritage and sacrifice brings us together rather than drives us apart. We know in the Legion we've got a lot of work to do to ensure that remembrance is seen as being inclusive. And at the moment we're working hard with many practitioners and engaging widely with diverse communities to ensure this issue is looked at and worked on. As well as our groundbreaking work in Wales here the last 2 years, we're also looking, we've worked hard around activity like BJ Day 75 to ensure that's reflected in diverse communities. As we all know, 80% of those who fought against the Japanese in the Far East came from the Commonwealth and other nations, and they paid a huge sacrifice in the Second World War. We've worked hard as well to produce educational resources, because education is really important. And we've got over 60 lesson plans, which are all bilingual, which also have diversity running through them as a key component of those areas. As you also may know, the Legion is also a really strong campaigning organisation. And this year, we're focused on one issue which impacts onto Commonwealth soldiers. That's what's known as the service charge. So, for example, a Commonwealth service leaver with a partner and 2 children could be presented with a bill for over £10,000 to continue to live in the UK, despite their years of service to the Crown and serving in the British Armed Forces. We think that's wrong, and it also risks pushing that family into poverty at a very important time in their lives as they transition from being a military personnel into a veteran and settling into a new career in society. So, briefly to summarise then, we're really excited, Uzo, to be a formal patron this year, to be working alongside you over Black History Month 365, and I really want to ensure that remembrance is being inclusive and it reflects diversity across the entire board. So thank you, Uzo, for bringing us on board.
Thank you so much, Ant. Your work stands for itself. You and all the armed forces were there in full salute, in full uniform, to pay tribute to Commonwealth servicemen and women, people from the Caribbean islands and all parts of Africa and Asia who gave their lives in the wars, and we salute your work. Now, Humi Webb, one of our key founders for Black History in Wales and a member of our Black History Management Committee, who is the closest friend of Patty Flynn, is going to give her tribute. Over to you, Humi.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm so pleased to be with you all today. And even though we're on screen, I can still feel all your presence. It's wonderful to see everybody. And it's a great privilege for me to give my short tribute to my wonderful friend, Patty Flynn. So I know I haven't got much time to go to everything that she did. She was so talented, but I just wanted to focus on 3 aspects of this wonderful woman's life. And as a performer, Patty had no other equal, and she was equally at home on the stage singing and being this wonderful witty raconteur. And for anybody who came to our shows, you know how funny and engaging she was. And she used that personality actually to engage with so many different audiences. For those people who don't know her, once you met Patty Flynn, you would never forget her. And she helped me She mentored me. She supported me in all the things that I did. And when I wasn't able to do events, I would say, my friend Patty will deputize for me. And people would say, well, how will we know Patty Flynn? I said, you will know Patty Flynn because she will enter the room expecting a fanfare. You will know her. And they did, because that was Patty. She was so glamorous. And the other thing I wanted to focus on is the fact that she loved young people and supporting young talent. And she would be absolutely thrilled at all the different performances that unfortunately we can't hear, but she would be thrilled, especially those who are focusing on jazz and blues, which was a cornerstone of the work that we did around the Bhutan Bay Jazz Festival. And that was also another way in which she could pay homage to her community, her love of jazz, and also her performing, her performance in terms of what she was what she wanted to do, to focus on the jazz and the heritage. And secondly, in terms of creativity, she was a wonderful, wonderful writer. She loved words, and she was so privileged and honored when she had an invitation to study at Oxford University in her mid-70s, people, in her mid-70s. And one of the things that she wanted to do was to address what she felt was missing, not just in heritage, but in culture. She felt that people of color were invisible. And that was her driving force all the time, about making sure people of color were visible. And she focused her dissertation on putting color back in history. And she wasn't afraid to challenge those lecturers and professors who maybe didn't know as much as she knew in terms of what she was trying to present, in terms of putting the color back into history. But she presented her dissertation, and she was so proud that she was managed to do that. And finally, as an activist, Patty was a person who hated discrimination and injustice of any kind. And she always wanted to see, what can we do? We'd sit for hours trying to put the word to rights about what can we do about this? What can we do about this? And one of the things that she was so proud of was actually the fact that she actually galvanized support, not just from Black History movement, but from all the sections of the armed forces to support her 26-year-long campaign with a wonderful friend, Betty Campbell, and my mentor as well, to ensure that there was a monument. And up until her last days, she was still thinking about others. She was still mentioning, please make sure you keep in touch with the Black History movement, the elders, the work that she started, and she really wanted to continue that work. And so in terms of what I finally like to say, in terms of Patty, one of the things that she always wanted to do is to be visible, and so that other people of color would be visible and be recognized. And I like to say, in tribute to Patty, Patty was never invisible, never invisible. And she was somebody who not only inspired me, but inspired others. And I think it's a great testament to her character that this 365 program has been, celebrated in her. So as her friend, I'm saddened that she's no longer here, but I am also encouraged and really heartened. My heart is full of joy today to see the legacy that Patty has left us. So thank you all for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Humi. Humi was at the funeral of Patty just a couple of days ago and sang beautifully to say farewell to our diva from the Tiger Bay area. We'll never forget you, Patty. Thank you, Humi. I want to introduce a very special Deputy Minister. When we talked about 26 years of fighting to get this monument installed, we came up with the elders going to meet with the council in Cardiff, and they agreed. Things dragged on, took a different turn, and we ran to Jane Hart, Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, and called on her to help. She sent one message and said, let this happen urgently. And the very next day, Patty and I had a call to say, come and pick the site where the stone will be installed. I cannot let people forget that it was thanks to Jane Hart, MS, that Patty's and Elaine Campbell's mother, Betty Campbell's dream of 26 years was agreed and authorized. And I'm delighted to say that her commitment to all the peoples of Wales in promoting equality for all the marginalized communities is been her passion and her commitment. She is a Deputy Minister and Chief Whip who heads up equality. And I'm delighted to say that I have served under her leadership, and I'm absolutely committed to her work. And shout out to anybody who has ears that she has supported the Black History movement, because people don't know that Black History has no core funding, Race Council has no core funding, Arts Council fund the artists, but in terms of actually people to deliver this work, to promote the work, we don't have any paid workers. So the Deputy Minister this year has agreed to provide funding for a marketing and communications officer and a part-time administrator to help us. Please warmly welcome Jane Hart, MS, Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, Welsh Government. Over to you, Deputy Minister.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Jochambal, Uzo and Prynhawn. Good afternoon. So I'm really pleased to be here for the launch of Black History Wales 2020. And obviously I've been listening in as soon as I could get here and join you, listening into all those fantastic speeches. And it's so wonderful to see that this month of celebration and commemoration continues to grow every year. And I'm so pleased we could make that announcement that we could support you, help fund the Black History Wales to organise a whole year of activities for Black History Cymru 365. And that's what it is, Black History Cymru 365, having such an impact on all our lives, on our children and young people, and the opportunities, as speakers have said, to make sure that this is truly part of everyday life living and our curriculum. But I'm also really pleased I've been here to listen to so many inspiring speakers, and thank Humi, particularly Humi Webb, for her tribute to our Black History patron, Patty Flynn. Obviously also sadness that we share and condolences to Patty's family and friends. And so many have spoken about Patty today. She was a trailblazer and ensuring that the sacrifices of so many from BAME communities, people of colour, were not forgotten. Now, I didn't know she'd been to Oxford and got that dissertation through putting colour back in history. I shall have to go and look that up because I'm sure it's a fantastic contribution. But I think it is important that she was so instrumental in ensuring that we got that plaque in honour of BAME soldiers, servicemen and women, which was finally unveiled. And many of us were there last year at the Welsh National War Memorial in Cardiff. And also that Patty, as Elaine said, Patty recognised Betty Campbell's role in this long-term campaign. And many of these campaigns people don't know about. They don't hear the struggles, the letters, the representations, and then we have to make, those of us got any power, have to make these things happen. And that's what we're here to do and to serve you. And I think we need to ensure that Patty's legacy, as well as all our other inspirational figures, such as Betty's, we'll see the statue soon. I very much hope in 2021 a Betty Campbell statue in such a prominent place in Cardiff. But we need future generations to know their names, to acknowledge their sacrifices that they and others have made to ensure that those experiences and opportunities of today are not marred by the inequalities and racism of the past. And we know that this is not just a time of reflection, it's a time for action. And the recent events in the States and related protests here, globally in the UK, the great vibrant Black Lives Matter, they've shone a light on racial inequalities and racism, including here in Wales. And we've got so much to do to advance race equality in Wales. The disproportionate impact of the coronavirus on BAME people has drawn attention to race and experiences of BAME communities and people of colour in a unique and significant way. And that's why our Race Equality Action Plan that we did agree to, that we would be developing before the lockdown in March, but now we're moving at pace to get this delivered. And it's going to have clear actions about how we can bring about long-term sustainable change for our society in Wales. The vision for the plan is grounded in recognising the need for that fundamental change. And it has to be about how we make that change, how we listen to people with their lived experience, people of colour, paying people and communities to take the right kind of action. So it has got to be guided by lived experience, by data, highlighting those areas of racial disparity. We've learned a lot from Lord Simon Woolley about the Race Disparity Unit. We've got huge amount of evidence. We've got reports, public inquiries, recommendations for change. Now is the time to implement. So this is about how we involve you all of those with diverse experiences, knowledge and skills to develop those shared objectives and get it right. And of course, this includes, all importantly, the views of young people. So listening and learning, seeking to ensure that all these voices and experiences are heard and captured is key to developing this plan. So we have got help as well. I've launched a small grant scheme to fund community groups to try and collect these community views, shape recommendations at the grassroots, and we've had a lot of applications for those, and we'll make those public very soon in terms of the grants. But we've got to get this plan in place before the end of this Senate session. That's, there's only a few weeks and months left to get this work done before next May. So it will be extensive engagement with you so that we work and we develop this plan together. Please join in, add your voices to its development. So that work and the work to come will drive progress towards a more equal Wales, alongside the work of Professor Charlotte Williams, and we're going to hear from Gaynor later on as well about her work, and many other speakers have said how they're already contributing and want to contribute, because we can drive progress together for a more equal Wales. And we can continue to undertake this journey together in partnership to ensure that we evolve as a nation that's based on the principles of equality, diversity, dignity, and respect. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you so much. Absolutely wonderful. Deputy Minister, I thought it was really important that people knew that it was you who picked up your email and made that change. 26 years of campaigning to make that change, and you effected that like pronto. I am so thankful to you personally, because without you, party's fight for this equality would have ended. None of us knew, standing next to Patty last year at the monument, that she would not even make it up to 1 year after. And I'm so thankful. And she said to me, her last conversation, just how incredible it was to lift that cloth, that blue cloth, and unveil this in honor of everybody who died for Wales and for the UK to keep people safe. And she felt her life's work had been achieved. I was so thankful. Thank you, Deputy Minister, for leading us in the Race Equality Action Plan, which we're all excited about, and we hope to hear more from you. Thank you so much.
Say that I'm okay with leaving everything and starting again. You'd be lying. I can never quit this game. The music stops when I'm dead. 'Cause you get me through the day, and I go to you when I'm in pain. Yeah, you make me feel okay. I'm okay yeah. Are you ready for this? 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 Yeah. Have a little faith in the days to come. Have a little faith in the days, yeah, yeah. Have a little faith, have a little faith, have a little faith.
My mind's so right now I can't turn left. I talk about a K but I don't do theft. I ain't what I make and I did it on my solo. I'll make another G and I ain't talking about polo. My mind's on the finer things. I ain't worried about beef, those are minor things. There's a virus out there killing people, worse than lethal. Another black dead, news flash, we ain't equal. It's better than it was but it's worse than it's been. You can't hide the truth, can't use smoke screens. Turn the lights down, they said they got 20/20 vision but they couldn't envision what we are seeing right now. I'm not like you think, I've always been mature for my age. I don't drink, don't wanna be the working man, I wanna be the boss. I'm trying to keep my mind clean, move away from goss. The best cure for anybody is a quiet mind, and I bet they didn't know that I'm quiet man. I don't text much, I don't like my phone. It's something like Tetris, always in my zone. And if you got faith then you're half there. Look at the position that you're in and the part, yeah, diamond in the rough. Never wanna settle, going harder when it's tough. It can't be getting easy, don't get easy enough.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Yeah. Are you ready for this? 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 Yeah. Are you ready Have a little faith in the days to come. Have a little faith in the days, yeah, yeah. In the days to come. Have a little faith in the days, yeah, yeah. Have a little faith, have a little faith, have a little faith.
Okay, we're going to move on because we've been working with Simon Parton, and Simon is really well known to all the young people in BBC Horizon program, but he's been working with Black History Month through funding by the Arts Council Wales to bring a lot of young Black people on who are interested in music and dance and rapping and bringing out their creativity. So Layla and Elliot Mackenzie have been the ones who have been very much developed through Simon's program. We will enjoy your music, Elliot, and please check it out on YouTube. Now, a lovely, awesome leader of Race Council Cymru's Black History Lead for North Wales, who's bringing together the North, East, West of Wales and bringing together people from Colwyn Bay, Flintshire, Wrexham, Bangor, Porthmadog, Denbighshire, all through. Yolanda Banovigas, dynamic woman. Over to you.
Oh, hello, everybody. I just want to give you a warm welcome to everyone here on screen and watching us from all over the world. I'm sure all our friends are going to be excited to see us maybe later on. So, croeso, bem-vindos to the national launch of Black History Wales 2020. Really, I'm very excited. It's the first time I'm celebrating Black history from my kitchen, but this is very strange time for all of us. I just want to say a really big thank you to the First Minister, Deputy Minister, our partners, our sponsors, all the artists, our friends, brothers and sisters that they've been supporting our work for all these years here in North Wales and across Wales. Black history, it is Wales history, also old world history. I just want to say a few I can't tell everyone, but I want to mention some of our wonderful partners that being so supportive towards our work. We have TPUB, the National Theatre Wales, Glyndŵr University, Welsh Ambulance Service, the amazing team of Rainbow Starlings. I know we can't see the video right now, but I'm sure you will love the video that Craig has put it together for us. It's an Art Council funded project that we started in the beginning of March that unfortunately we had to change it slightly. We hope to continue very soon. Please watch the video online. You're going to love it. Special thanks here to my sister Karen Denman, that she's always been supporting Black history from the beginning. CLPW, Wrexham African Community, Newami, Marion Gwyn, Welsh Co-op, and there's so much more. And a big thank you to all Race Council Cymru staff that been working for all these years without much support, but we turning up to be amazing events and everything else that we do across Wales. Really, thank you so much. Please continue to support our work. We love you all.
Thank you so much, Yolanda. Well said on behalf of all our families in North Wales. And now we just want to introduce the Chief Executive of Arts Council Wales, the indomitable Nick Capaldi. Over to you, Nick.
Thank you, Uzo, for your kind introduction. It's a great pleasure to be joining once again another exciting Black History launch. And like many here today, I can't help but feel the benign gaze of the inspirational Patty Flynn watching over our celebrations of Black culture. The Arts Council has supported Black history activities delivered over the past 4 years. In the first 2 years, our funding supported only the activity during October. But in 2018, we moved towards supporting a programme of year-round activity. And with the energy and expertise brought by those working within the Black History Project, we've seen a significant growth in activity and a strengthening of partnerships with artists and arts organisations. This has both raised the quality of the arts and has offered new opportunities to showcase the excellent work of artists of African and African Caribbean descent. We look forward to further enhancements to Black History's year-round programme of activity in the future. Of course, today's launch takes place under the most extraordinary of circumstances. And as Jane had pointed out, the COVID-19 pandemic is having an unprecedented impact on everyone's lives. But we must remember also that public health crises aren't equal opportunities events. The poorest, the most marginalised, and the disabled are generally the worst affected, while the wealthy, connected, and healthy are usually better able to weather the storm. No one can be now unaware of the disproportionate impact of the COVID-19 virus on diverse communities. But if our culture is the reflection of who we think we are, then the Black Lives Matter movement is telling us that we still haven't recognised that society continues to reinforce discrimination and lack of equality. Entitlement to culture shouldn't only be for the entitled. If there's to be any silver lining to the dark cloud of the COVID-19 pandemic, we must expect the future to look and to feel very different. And by different, we mean better, more diverse, more representative of the social and cultural richness of contemporary Wales. At the moment, this isn't the case, and the Arts Council must accept its own responsibility for its failings in these areas. However, the Arts Council is especially pleased to be working with Black History Wales to celebrate and promote the creativity of African and African Caribbean artists. A generous, fair-minded and tolerant society is instinctively inclusive and respects the creativity of all of its citizens. So if we want Wales to be fair, prosperous and confident, improving the quality of life of people in all of its communities, then we must make the choices now that enable this to happen. The arts help us to understand diversity and difference. They also help us to explore and to articulate our common humanity, our place in the world. They help us to express what's distinctive and singular, but also what unites and binds us together. Diversity strengthens and invigorates the arts, and I warmly commend the exciting and wide-ranging programme of work presented within the warm embrace of Black History Wales. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nick. Without your support, contribution to fund artists, I don't think we would have any artistic contributions in Black history. Over the past 14 years of our existence, Arts Council Wales have stood beside Black artists and actually insisted that Black artists should be paid a fair wage. I pay tribute to your staff, Jenny. Everybody knows Jenny Stoves and the hard work she has put into supporting our work, and we celebrate the work that you do. Yes, more support, please, and take us to the next levels. I have to hint, hint, hint. Nick, thank you so much. Yeah. And now we want to welcome the contributors from the Royal Welsh College. We've already welcomed Professor Helena Gaunt, who is the principal of the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, and who have warmly opened their arms and their hearts to Black communities and host the Windrush Cymru Elder meetings every single week. And I've signed a partnership with Council Cymru, and also invited me to serve as the International Chair for Diversity at the Royal College, supporting their diversity initiatives as they become more and more inclusive. And we're excited to get today to have with us on the screen a number of senior executives from the Royal College, and as partners of Black History have hosted the grand finale for the past 3 years. They respect us, they love the elders, and they're really keen to show and demonstrate their commitment to race equality. They haven't arrived, but they're on a journey to promote equality. And right now, I want to warmly, warmly welcome the amazing Jonathan Munby, the Director of Performance Drama at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. He's promised, I've asked him to bring us Lenny Henry. So who knows? Keep your ears peeled if he does it. Well, at least he has his contact phone number, but he's not sharing that. Over to you, Jonathan. Tell us a bit more.
Thank you so much, Uzo, and good afternoon, everybody. It's a real privilege to be here. My name is Jonathan Munby. I'm the new head of the acting programme at Royal Welsh College. I've been here in post only for a few months now, so I'm the new boy. And I just can't wait to meet the elders. So as soon as we can have you back in the building, we'll have a cup of tea and say hello. I can't wait to meet you. As Uzo has alluded to, we're on a journey here at Royal Welsh College. And it was very clear to me once I got the job, just how many changes I was passionate about making and about putting in place, not just in terms of the repertoire that we were teaching, but also the repertoire that we wanted to see performed in the college, and also the artists that we were inviting into the college too, and also the staff that we were inviting to teach also. So a lot of changes, and I'm really pleased to say that no resistance in terms of the staff that are already here, and a lot of changes we've already put in place, which is very exciting. 3 directors of colour coming to direct work in this half of term. I've just appointed a new senior lecturer in acting, the wonderful and brilliant actress Suzanne Packer, who is joining us from this term to teach mainly acting for screen. So a lot of change is already taking place. And we've just done a partnership with a wonderful African American professor from Georgia State University, Dr. Chandrika Moss-Bodane, who is going to zoom in once a week for the next 2 months to teach African American plays and playwriting. So I'm really excited about Chandrika joining us as well. But really, I'm here today to introduce to you a new position at Royal Welsh, which is a writer in residence. Each year, we're going to have a new writer in residence who will feed the artistic life of the college, but also write us a play to be performed in college. And I'm thrilled to announce that our first writer in residence at Royal Welsh is Chino Adimba. Are you with us, Chino?
Yes, I'm here, Jonathan. It's just been so wonderful listening to all the stories and conversations and presentations. Really, thank you so much for having me, Professor Uzo. Thank you. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria.
Yes.
And it's an absolute honor to be here.
Chino, I'd love, we haven't got much time, I know, but it would be great just for everyone to hear about you as a writer a little bit, and also perhaps what plans you've got for the piece that you're going to be writing for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also, I kind of got invited to be the first writer in residence when Jonathan took over, and it's just been a complete surprise, but a complete honor. I didn't come into the arts until I was in my mid-30s, so I have a lot of feelings about who gets to be seen as an artist, who gets to be celebrated as an artist, and that's something I really want to bring to this role. But in terms of stories, the stories I tell tend to be very much centered around the African experience, the Black experience, but also the joyous experience, because so much of the time we get caught up in the trauma, and the stories of our trauma are the only stories we hear. So just last year I had a play on about the Bristol bus boycott, because I live in Bristol, so I'm just over the bridge, and maybe I'll get swayed to move to Wales very soon.
Yeah.
But and that was called Princess and the Hustler, and that focused on the 1963 bus boycott in Bristol, and it was really about the life of a young girl and young dreams. So that still feels really important, and I'm hoping that at Royal Welsh College I'll be able to start to explore what those dreams are, but what the dreams for the future are, you know, and what those identities that we need to start finding for ourselves are. You know, it's really feels really important now that we expand our understanding of what our identities are. And I know that Brexit has created a lot of anxiety for Black communities about where we belong, and actually taking us away from the sense of British identity, and whether there is time now to start embracing a wider sense of identity. So I'm looking at exploring some of the European stories around Blackness, some of the European, we're leaving the EU, we're not leaving Europe. And I think it's important that we start having those conversations across Europe now, and not always be looking to the American experience, because those European experiences are probably closer to our lives in many ways. So yeah, I'm hoping in doing this role, I will be a point of support and comfort to Black students at the college, but I'm also hoping that I want to get to know Cardiff, I want to get to know Welsh history, I want to find a way to celebrate some of the Black playwrights and writers that have been a part of that culture, and also more importantly, I want us to find joyous paths into the future, as well as really holding that history that belongs to everyone and not just us, and doesn't belong to just 1 month. So thanks very much for having me, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chinonyerem Odimba. I speak it with a Nigerian emphasis. Well done, and welcome to Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. I'm sure the elders will give you many coaches when they see you. You and Jonathan will be hugged. I'm sure Roma is preparing herself, Auntie Roma. Now we're going to move straight on to the Chief Executive of Literature Wales, Llaiki Sienken. I hope I have said your name well. Doing dysgu Cymraeg, doing hoffi siarad Cymraeg, and doing not good at siarad Cymraeg. Welcome to you, and one of our new partners on the Black History Movement. For those who don't know, we have 127 partners on the steering committee for Black History. So it's not one person. Over to you straight away, Chief Exec.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Wso, mae dy Gymraeg di'n wych.
Diolch yn fawr.
Ag I holl drefnwyr hanes pobl ddion Cymru am y gwahoddiad fydd yn rhan o'r lansiad arbennig hwn. Mae dod i'r afel a thangynrychiolaeth enbyd y maes llenyddiaeth a chyhoeddi yng Nghymru yn elfen ganolog o'n strategaeth ni fel corff. My name's Llaiki Sienken, and thank you for the introduction. I'm CEO of Literature Wales, the national company for the development of literature. And our vision is a Wales where literature empowers, improves and brightens lives. And it's a privilege to represent Literature Wales at this important event today and to give a very brief introduction to our work in developing and promoting the diverse literary voices of Wales. Literature and the arts play an important role in educating ourselves as a nation on the injustices faced by Black people in Wales and the world, and our writers can be the active voices for change. The groundbreaking report reflecting realities, published by the Centre for Literacy in Primary Education, found that only 4% of all the children's books published in the UK in 2017 featured a Black, Asian or minority ethnic character, and only 1% as a main character. When you don't see yourself in the books you're reading, you're less likely to pursue other works or see the value in creative writing. So this is why addressing underrepresentation is a central focus to our work at Literature Wales and has led to successful initiatives such as platforming underrepresented writers. So today, I'm pleased to announce two things. Next week, we'll be launching the second round of the Rising Stars Wales Awards in partnership with Firefly Press, with the aim of nurturing children's poets from Black, Asian and minority ethnic backgrounds and to publish an anthology of their work. Last year's winner, Alex Wharton, has now signed a publishing deal and his debut children's poetry collection, Daydreams and Jellybeans, will be out next year. And later this month, with generous support from the Arts Council of Wales and in partnership with Black History Wales, we're launching a brand new professional development programme for Black, Asian and minority ethnic writers, following extensive consultation during this summer. The programme will last a whole year, 365 days, and will include financial awards as well as individual one-to-one mentoring and training opportunities as well as networking, and is open to writers living in Wales on all levels and working in every literary form. So please keep a lookout on our website, literaturewales.org. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi gyd.
Diolch yn fawr. Oh, braf cwrwdati and bendigedig. Mae'n wych. It's excellent to hear all the exciting program that is planned, and I'm so excited to meet you later and talk about more initiatives. I'm sure the whole committee of the Black History Wales group will be interested in what you're doing. A big thank you to you.
Big up everyone, good afternoon. It's October 1st, Nigeria, happy Independence Day. I go by the name of Skunkadelic. This track is a feature on the Jack Mack album. Big up to Race Council Wales for having me. Yeah. Seem to be a fiend for the heavy workload, switching through projects like a lost toad. Dreams of being rich, cruising the Celine tween turbo. More so the fact that I'm a poor bloke, born and raised in a place where the grind don't stop. Hustle every day till the day you drop. That's okay, long as you double up the paycheck. That's not the case in this game of chess. Better be smart, not rest, to keep you mentally sharp. Never know the next man's step, don't be alarmed when they show you respect. Alter your motives, shrouded in charm, deception, dressed in nice garms, holding a pint of regret. If it's all go, no time to reflect. My Mr. Memo, protect your neck, best keep them cards close to your chest. Look forward, reminisce, throwbacks. Candles burn, both ends, no wax. Slow down, reflect, relax. We all need a break sometime. Look forward, reminisce, throwbacks. Candles burn, both ends, no wax. Slow down, reflect, relax. We all need a break. Sometimes you never know the true value of a moment till it's over. Now sober, looking back was an omen, good or bad. You're hoping it'll open more doors when you reach the shores of promised land. No remorse, work hard and reap the reward. Recharge and restore and don't ignore. Stagnancy easily lead to all sorts of diseases. Regular sleep if you want to achieve the best things in life, they say comes for free. Some still bark up the wrong tree, fall up like Humpty Dundee. Things I can't unsee makes me spark it up like a jump lead. Start the engine, the gremlins, backward of engines, ever ready for another session. If you're not yet to express progression, get the step in. Look forward, reminisce, throwbacks. Candles burn, both friends, no wax. Slow down, reflect, relax. We all need a break sometime. Yeah, look forward, reminisce, throwbacks. Candles burn, both ends, no wax. Slow down, reflect, relax. We all need a break sometime. Yeah. Hey, huh? We all need a, yeah. Jack Mack on the saxophone. Look forward, reminisce, throwbacks. Candles burn, both ends, no wax. Slow down, reflect, relax. We all need a break sometime. Chill out, mate. Look forward, reminisce, throwbacks. Candles burn, both ends, no wax. Slow down, reflect, relax. We all need a break. We all need a break sometime. We all need a break sometime. We all need a break sometime. Yeah, we all need a break sometime. We all need a break sometime. We all need a break. We all need a break. We all need a break sometime. Yeah, look forward, reminisce, throwbacks. Candles burn, both ends, no wax. Slow down, reflect, relax. We all need a break sometime. Look forward, reminisce, throwbacks. Come on, candles burn, both ends, no wax. Yeah, throw down, leaks back, relax. We all need a break sometime. Peace. Thank you.
We are commemorating incredible contributions of people of Black descent, African descent, Caribbean descent into Welsh society. Okay, so we want to highlight contributions to arts and culture, but we also want to highlight contributions to education. The work that Professor Emmanuel Ogbonna, one of the first professors, Black professors appointed in Wales, who's the vice chair of Race Council Cymru and a leading researcher in Cardiff Business School, also the chair of the subcommittee for socio-economic impact of COVID-19 on the on BAME people in Wales, and currently the co-chair of the steering committee producing the Race Equality Action Plan in Wales. Professor Emmanuel Obona does not need any introduction. If you've never heard his lecture, well, I don't think you've lived in Wales. So over to you, Professor Emmanuel Obona, to speak to us.
Thank you very much, Uzo. Uzo's introductions nearly always set you up to fail, but I shall do my best not to. Thank you very much for joining us today. Today, we are showcasing the contributions of Black people in the professions. We're looking at professions, law, medicine, engineering, accountancy, and academia, where I work. And I was going to take you through my journey in academic life, how I did a PhD, became a lecturer, and then went on to become a professor, leading up to the work Uzo just described that we've been doing for the Welsh government and with the Welsh government. But then just listening to everybody today and also being mindful of the fact that I haven't got an hour to take you through my career journey, all the highs and the lows, and there are many lows, I thought it was better for me to do something else. And it occurred to me that the thing I should be doing now that we have a captive audience, really, a captive audience of young people and not so young people, is to talk about one area that Black people have not been so successful, and that is in the area of politics, political engagement, political activism. All the work we've been doing recently has been leading to one thing for me, and that one thing is that you need political power to be able to make change. The change that we are seeing or we are likely to see in Wales is because we have had, we've been very fortunate to have people who have a commitment to this area, a commitment to equality and diversity, something that has been part of them all their lives. But this is the only time they've really had the opportunity. I'm talking about our First Minister and Deputy Minister and Chief Whip and many members of the cabinet. But this is the first time they've really had the opportunity to make that change, to see that change happen. So political activism is something that is going to help us an awful lot. If you look at it, we live in a representative democracy, and the only way to effect change is through making our voices heard. That means we must engage. We must try and become local councillors. We must try and become members of the Senate. And if you look at the Senate at the moment, there were two members of the BME communities. Unfortunately, we lost Mohammed Afga. So we only have one member of the BME community now. He happens to be a very important member of the Senate, but he's just a lone voice. And I am sure he feels as lonely as I did when for 18 years, I was the only Black professor in a Russell Group University in Wales. A few months ago, gladly, another Black professor was appointed. So there are two of us now, and I feel like I have company. And I am sure that the Honorable Von Getting would want company, other people like us to come and join him. So young people, please engage in politics, and even not so young people, engage in politics so that we can make our voices heard. Thank you, Uzo.
Thank you so much, Prof. I'm very excited because this is a whole year of programming. And I'm sure that one of your lectures will fall into this year that we can announce to everybody who's online now and also who's watching as part of your contribution to education in Wales, to give that talk and that share some of what you have in mind in terms of further developing the socioeconomic subgroups work that you're doing with Welsh Government in partnership with Welsh Government is a really refreshing opportunity. And I know that definitely the First Minister and the Deputy Minister, Chief Whip, and all the BAME community are excited to work together in Wales. It's unique in Wales, actually, that we partner so closely. Thank you for your leadership and for wanting to inspire others to join you, because many people rise, but they don't encourage others. So we are very delighted to have a big brother like you who is so good at mentoring and supporting others. Now, we want to highlight the role that ethnic minority people have played in the NHS, in the medical sphere, in social care, in health and social care, especially in this pandemic. We want to highlight the contributions of people like Vanessa Cyril, OBE, our Windrush elder and Black History patron, Mrs. Vanessa Cyril, who was a midwife in the NHS and delivered over 2,000 babies. I'm sure you will hear Vanessa's story in another program that we're hosting. But we want to highlight the role that Mr. Kofi Obubie, as a consultant, they called Mr. Kofi Obubie, consultant endocrinologist in Newport Hospital, a member of the First Minister's BAME COVID-19 advisory group. We've invited him today just to say a bit about his own journey into medicine and what can he say to encourage others to join. Over to you, Mr. Kofi Obubie.
Thank you very much, Uzo. Can you hear me clearly, please?
Yes.
Professor Uzo, First Minister, and everybody gathered, I'm delighted to be called upon to talk to you today. I'm actually humbled, very much so. Humbled by, first and foremost, the circumstances in which we find ourselves. Our world faces the pressures of a pandemic that continues to press us for answers and innovations, not only here in Wales, but all across the world. I'm also humbled by the fact that this has fleshed out a number of issues, particularly in relation to at-risk populations, more so people like ourselves, especially those from Black ethnic minority backgrounds, all across the UK and further afield, but also at the same time as well by the unfortunate incidents that have brought to fore the issues of justice and fairness and problems, especially as we recognize them from across the Atlantic. We in Wales here, where I've lived for many years, and I do consider myself partly Welsh because I've raised two daughters who were born in Cardiff and the Vale of Glamorgan. And in raising these two, who speak Welsh as well, we have been very much alongside wanting to press hard to make sure that society is fair. I salute Wales for giving me the opportunity after coming to Britain to enable me to rise all the way to the point of being a consultant. And despite the unfairness in the world, your society has provided me with the opportunities. Those who have mentored me, consultants who have looked after me and guided and shaped me to come here. I am keen to see more join me, and I'm keen to ensure that mentoring is available, and I take it upon myself, and I encourage, and I would want to see more work experience opportunities provided for young people of all different backgrounds, because I think it's important for them, especially for those from ethnic and minority backgrounds, to recognize that actually once we've done this, they can run past us and go on to and occupy some of the places that Professor Ogbonna so proudly presents to us today. And certainly there are opportunities in the National Health Service. We want to see more join us to go on to become professors, to go on to build on. And as Martin Luther King said, whatever we do, we have to be the best that we are in that particular field. Maya Angelou also says to us that when you have known, make sure that you know and make sure that you do better. So this is an opportunity for us to encourage. You might not know this, but I went to a school called Achimota School in Ghana, which is also called the Prince of Wales College. I was trained in a system, and our school motto, as I look at it now, where was the keyboard of the piano. It included the black and white keys. And the school's motto was that all may be one. And where sure they told us that we do not play only the black keys, but we play both the black and the white keys. And this has been the motto that has spurred us on till this day. And so when I saw many of the young ones, particularly my daughters, go out during the time when there were the demonstrations and everything for Black Lives Matter, I was delighted to see that actually those demonstrating represented the black and the white keys. And that was absolutely delightful to see. I salute the First Minister. I salute the Welsh Assembly government for setting up the BME Risk Assessment Group, which has gone on to do a fantastic piece of work and working alongside the likes of Judge Ray Singh, Professor Keshav Singhal, and Professor Emmanuel Ogbonna, and then also others in the group, to see how passionately they have worked to actually deliver this. It inspires and encourages the likes of us to continue to mentor and to work hard within the National Health Service to ensure that Wales continues to deliver and to deliver a better society. And indeed, in relation to this, we are ahead of all the UK nations in being the first nation to come up with a robust assessment tool. So thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to set up a work experience program to mentor young ones of all backgrounds to enable them go on to play the black and the white keys together to make music and to create a fairer society. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, consultant endocrinologist Kofi Obubie, a remarkable man and a champion. Can I just warmly welcome David Waboso, CBE. He's the independent non-executive director and top chief of London Underground. Many of you always wonder who runs that scheme. And I tell you what, before he became the top boss, he was the director of engineering of the London Underground for over 11 years. He worked on huge projects like the Jubilee Line extension to Canary Wharf, upgrading those tracks. And I remember looking at an interview that he did, and he says he wants to make sure, he actually made a very huge statement about what he wants to do. He says, I want to get a better service for passengers and accommodate 1 billion more journeys by 2030. Now, we're celebrating the contributions of Black people or people of African descent or African Caribbean descent to society, to Wales, to the UK. And warmly gives me so much joy, and thank you for your patience. I'm waiting all this time. David Waboso, let's hear from you, finally. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ozar. I hope you can all hear me clearly. Honourable guests, First Minister, Lord Lieutenant, Brigadier, and everybody, honourable guests, very pleased and honoured to be part of this great event. It's been inspiring listening to you all. I've got a few minutes, no more than that, to just talk you through my life story and hopefully just to help inspire people, which is what I'm really keen, especially for the younger generation. I think, especially in the light of recent events, today's launch is hugely important. I think it's very important that we give positive stories and positive messages to the youngsters, to the younger generation, and show them what's possible. In that vein, I'm just going to briefly walk through my life story. I was born in London in 1956 to a Nigerian father who's a doctor and a Gloucester-born mother. So although I can't claim Welsh ancestry, Gloucester's not that far from the border, and plays rugby almost as passionately as the Welsh do, I can tell you that. I went to school in Gloucester. I chose civil engineering as a career because I wanted to make a difference to as many people as I could, and civil engineering is a great way to just change things for the better for lots of people, whether it's water supply, transport, railways that you mentioned. And just a correction, is I'm no longer at London Underground. I spent many happy years there, but I'm now semi-retired doing independent non-executive work. I took degrees in civil engineering, including a master's degree. My early career was spent doing roads and water supply and bridges across the world. I did work in Nigeria for a while, in northern Nigeria, where I did water supply. I did things like the M25 in Essex, the Thurrock Lakeside Shopping Centre. And one of the things that I reflect on in my career, I've been very fortunate at key points in my career to meet people who've given me their time. I think as you get older, the one thing you realise that is more valuable than anything else is your time. Ultimately, it's the one thing we all run out of, and giving of your time is probably the biggest gift you can do and make for people. So I was very fortunate that certain people gave me a lot of their time to teach me, to mentor me, to support me, and to believe in me. So I went into the rail industry after my early career outside the rail industry in infrastructure. And I joined the Docklands Light Railway programme, which was then one of the world's most advanced railways, driverless railway. And we had some huge challenges. Again, a major theme, I think, when I'm talking to younger people, I talk about you'll meet challenges along the way. Resilience is such an important quality in in what we do and how to overcome it. You will have challenges, you will have setbacks. We've got to teach resilience. It's very important. But we overcame the problems, and I was very fortunate to be then, I won the prize as Project Manager of the Year across the whole of the UK. That was in 1995. I then went across to the Jubilee Line extension, which you mentioned. They had a big challenge in getting that extension open for the millennium. We had, again, huge numbers of challenges, but again, we managed to get that open in late 1999 for the millennium. I then worked in government. I had my first director role with the Strategic Rail Authority, where I was overseeing some multi-billion pound programmes across the rail industry, and was the UK representative on the European Rail Agency, which is a huge privilege to be going to Brussels and representing the UK and making key decisions on the future of rail. As you mentioned, I then joined the London Underground, and I led the delivery of the Tube upgrade, which is the largest ever upgrade of any operational metro, and we did a lot of that in time for the Olympics, another huge success. I then went across to Network Rail, was managing director of the digital railway systems, and I've recently semi-retired. I'm now on the boards, advising boards of major companies, whether it's Thames Water or Hinkley Point C or other companies on strategy and implementation. I do spend a lot of my time, though, on supporting and mentoring the younger generation. I think that's a very important thing we can do. Back to my theme of giving of your time. And I've been fortunate enough to meet people who supported me and gave me their time. And I feel the least I can do is give back. And I totally support all the previous speakers who've mentioned that the importance of providing jobs and internships and opportunities. I think that's going to become very important as the economy goes through a bit of a rocky time. So I think that whole aspect of how we can, I think, just to finish, I think it's so important given the economic stresses, no doubt, we're going to face, that how we provide opportunities to youngsters to show that there is a way for them to get to the top. Obviously, showcasing the role models that you've put on today, but also providing those opportunities, whether internships or just placement opportunities. I think that's going to be hugely important to inspire the youngsters. So anyway, thought I'd give you a quick canter through my career, my journey, and hopefully it will help inspire the younger generation. And that's work that I certainly intend to continue to do. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow, David, I wish this is just a taster and a bit about you. And I'm hoping you will come back in the year to come to do more focus sessions with our young people. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Every time we get on the London Underground, we'll think of you, David, and shout out more about the fantastic work you do. Thank you. And now it gives me absolute honor and pleasure to warmly welcome our special Minister for Health, and who needs no introduction. His face is well known in all our Black History events. We are delighted to have him in the Senate, the only ethnic minority Minister for Health and Social Services. He doesn't need any introduction. Patty was his biggest champion. Absolutely loved him. Patty had him everywhere talking and speaking up about the work that he's doing. He mentors a lot of people, and I'm hoping that through your inspirational work, Vaughan, that many people will come to join the Senate Parliament. So over to you. Warm welcome to Vaughan Gethin, MS.
Thank you, Uzo, as ever, understated. Look, I'm delighted to be here again at the start of Black History Month, the start of another year where we reflect on where we come from, the past, the more recent past, and also where we are and what we want to do in the future. And I've been thinking a lot more and more recently, not just about my life story, but actually about the future. Since becoming a dad, I think about the world that my son is growing up in. He's 6 years old, and he's a normal little boy. He has friends. He's occasionally naughty. He's a wonderful, loving boy, though, and he's just a normal 6-year-old boy. And I think about the world he's growing up in, as he's becoming more aware of who he is and who I am, and he's becoming more aware of difference. And the good news is that he's entirely accepting of it. He asks very innocent questions about why me and mum are different. He asks questions about why the people are different, and it all goes in. The challenge I have is that whilst him and his friends have a great time together, I think about when will I need to talk to him about why some people don't look at me differently because I'm occasionally on the television, but that some people look at me differently because of how I look. And I think that about this year and about the Black Lives Matter movement and the reminder it's given us that progress is not inevitable. We have gone backwards in a number of respects, and yet progress is always possible, at sometimes harder than others. And I think within this Black History Month, we should celebrate that in Wales we're making deliberate choices to want to take us forwards. So we have the debate about statues and place names, and those things are important to a degree, not just in themselves, but about what they tell us about how at ease we are with our past, how honest we want to be about it, and to reconsider how we celebrate and populate our public realm. If the only people we see commemorated and celebrated, even if we don't know who they are, look nothing like us, and if we're not part of that story that is being celebrated, that has an impact. And so I think it is the honesty of our story, rather than trying to change our history, because we are the nation who we've been with all of the differing links that we have in other parts of the world, and will continue to do so, for better or for worse. And yet I think we should be really proud of the fact that we can celebrate the fact that we can call different parts of the world part of our own individual story, part of the story of our country. And that's especially so for my boy, because his mum's Irish, and no one ever told him that he shouldn't celebrate, and no one will tell him in his future, I don't think, he shouldn't celebrate the fact that he's entitled to have an Irish passport. And so that point about acceptance, and acceptance in a general level, this is a normal part of our story. I think not just that, but about the continuing injustice and the conversation I'll need to have with him about what he needs to do to look after himself and to be safe, and to prepare not just him, but to prepare me for the fact that at some point he'll suffer a form of abuse, a comment, a denial of opportunity because he isn't white. Now that's difficult. And yet when I was growing up and that happened to me, I thought, well, that's one of those things. It hurts when it happens. But it didn't stop me from wanting to go on and to do things, to have friends, to have a circle of people who were just part of the everyday part of life and wanting to get on, exactly as my friends did who don't look like me. So the talk will be difficult, but it will be necessary. But part of the reason why I think Black History Month matters, it's to regather and to say how much have we done, how much more do we need to do, because I would like the conversation with him to be an easier one. I would like it to be one where we can be even more positive, where we talk about things that happened in the past to learn from, not to prepare for what will still be happening when he's a teenage mixed race boy going around and trying to live his life as normal. And he'll get things wrong as well as he'll get things right, as we all do. I also think, though, in terms of the positive progress that we are choosing to make here in Wales, two recent things. So the review on education, our curriculum, and Black history being part of the history of Wales, and about the different stories that make up our past as well as today and the future. And I'm really pleased that Charlotte Williams is going to lead that work. And that was a clear-sighted choice that we made. In many ways, it's more important than the debate about statues. It's about valuing how we teach people. And that is not just for my son, that is for all of us. It is for all those people who he will meet in his future. It is for all those people who will never meet. And an understanding of how we get to be today's Wales, and about the fact, as I said many times before, it has made our country richer and better for it. And I finally, in terms of celebrating the past, we already have lots of statues of dead white men populating the public realm, not very many women. And so I look forward to Betty Campbell's statue being erected within the city. And I say that as someone who certainly didn't see eye to eye with Betty in all of her days. We disagreed and I fought election against her and won. And but I still recognise that her achievements, she mattered when lots of people who looked like us didn't. And more than that, though, I'm really pleased that yesterday Cardiff Council, together with others, launched a campaign for a commemoration of code breakers, men who left South Wales, typically, and many of them from around Butetown and Tiger Bay, the overwhelming concentration who is being recognised, and almost all of them were black. Later times, there were white rugby players who left the union game, but if you talk now to some of those people who are alive, then they will say that they couldn't get on. And they didn't feel there was a future for them either within the club game here in Cardiff, let alone at international level. And yet there are men who are legends of the game. From Billy Boston, who has a statue in Wigan, no recognition here as of yet within his own city. He's still alive, his sister's still alive in Butetown. Clive Sullivan, captain of Great Britain Rugby League, the first black person to captain a professional Great Britain sporting team, led Great Britain Rugby League to a World Cup triumph. Originally from Splot, no recognition in his city, but the main road that goes up to the stadium, the main stadium in Hull, is Sullivan Way, named after him. And so these people are celebrated as legends of a game and achievement in northern towns, and yet not properly known here. And I think it is a significant and positive step forward for the council have made a choice to want to honour some of these tremendous achievements and asking the public to choose who they want to see honoured. And that, for me, would be a fitting statement, something that I've asked for and called for, and I'm delighted that the council have listened. So we're looking to our past, but that is, again, about reclaiming our public realm and our role and our place in it. And in the future, Uzo's right. I want to see more people that look like me involved in public life and becoming successful. It's part of the reason I take part in the mentoring schemes that EYST run. It's part of the reason why I've looked at work experience for young people from across my constituency, those who need the help rather than those who are already knocking on the door and asking to be let in. It's those who aren't asking because they don't think that our government and our parliament is somewhere that still includes them in the same way it does others. And in reflecting on the past, the learning, I was really upset when Patty passed because I thought she was so inspirational. I know her son, Michael, and every time I saw her, there was a smile, there was some recognition, and there was always positivity about the future. So we should reflect the fact that there is difference, there is disadvantage, there is more to do. We should also reflect it's still possible for us to help each other and to change our country for the better. And we should be positive about the fact that we have so much inspiration from our past and today in young people, people in our middle age, and as well, the people who are still with us and we could and should still learn from as well. So I wish you all good wishes, not just for the next month, the Black History Month, but for the future and our role in creating what our future will be for our wonderful country here in Wales. Many thanks.
Thank you so much, Minister Vaughan Gethin. Thank you for joining us and for speaking. We all know in Black history that Betty Campbell is our standard bearer. I have to say that, Vaughan. And also Patty Flynn. People like you inspire young people to be right. If Vaughan can be there and be a member of the Senate, I can be too. So we celebrate all that is wonderful about each one of you icons, and we look to you to continue to support young people to strive to be the best that they could be. And I celebrate towers of strength like Angela Barnes from our Windrush generation that passed also this year, Donna Campbell from the NHS, who you know quite well, and died serving on the COVID ward. So a big thank you to all the work that you do and the work of the First Minister, Deputy Minister, Chief Whip, all of the members of the Senate. And we thank you for your leadership and coming to join us today. Thank you so much, Minister. And now, just before Ife launches her Bossing It track, specially composed to be launched for Black History, we're going to invite a wonderful sister who I introduced earlier, who's now with us, Gaynor Legal. Please come and speak to us very briefly, and then I'll introduce Ife, and I will introduce Anwar, Siziba, and Richard and Carter. Over to you, Gaynor, sister.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I missed the beginning of this, unfortunately, but what I've heard has been inspirational, and it has been empowering. So I won't bring you all down by moaning and telling you what else needs to be done, because the truth of the matter is we all know what needs to be done. We all know what needs to change. The issue is, how do we begin that change? And coming from my background, I see the difficulties that lots of young people face in making that start, that beginning. We can't all be doctors and engineers, but we all have a talent. We are all good at something, and it's about identifying that something and helping to nurture that something. And I hope that events like this, and the fact that Black History is about a year-long, ever exposing piece of work, together with some of the other initiatives that are going on across Wales, will help children to realise that they can do better, that they can achieve. And I think it behoves us all to lend our helping hand and to get them involved, because it is difficult. It is difficult if you're a young person living in somewhere like Newtown to even aspire to want to go to college, to know about the opportunities that are out there. But it is possible. But we, each and every one of us, at some time in our life, have needed the help of someone. Some people need more help than others. And I just hope that we can, with this grouping that's here today, develop something that is ongoing, that can give a sustained support to young people. And I hope that the Vaughan actually stole most of what I wanted to say. How dare he? But the work of the statues, the launch of the commemoration of the rugby code breakers is just the start of recognizing our existence, our contribution, the fact that we are here, we are Welsh, and we're going to stay here. I think that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gaynor. We are excited that you're chairing that monument, and we're looking forward very much to seeing the final report and what happens next. That's what we're going to, that's what people are asking. And the moment has come. I just, before I read through everybody that has made this possible, I just want to invite Ife, and if Anwar, Siziba, and Richard are here, Ife is launching her, is launching her brand new Bossing It EP today live in honor of Black History Wales 365 to celebrate the coming out from pandemic, hoping that people come through it, and also that we boss it. We don't just come through, we boss it. And Ife, are you live on screen? Can I see your
Hello,
face?
yes I am.
Hello,
Thank you
hi
for
Ife.
having us. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, is Richard live as well on the platform? Well,
yes, I'm right here.
Oh,
I'm right here.
Richard, yay. So
Yeah.
Ife, you composed that piece, but the EP, Bossing It. Tell us about the composition. What inspired you? And then we'll talk to Richard.
Well, it was amazing because our culture of Black history is so important. I wanted to focus on my roots, where I'm from, and I'm proud of that. So with this piece, Bossing It, it's an R&B Afrobeat track, and it's just amazing just to boss it, whatever situation you're going through, just to be the boss in your own life, be the best, aspire to what you want to be, and just do your very best to in your profession, in your life, and just help others as well. And thank you so much to Black History for supporting, supporting and being a supportive network for many professionals.
So you've been on the Welsh A-list as a Swansea-born of Nigerian heritage. How does that feel to have been on Radio Wales, BBC Radio Wales A-list, Welsh A-list?
It's such an honor. It's such an honor for Black artists to be recognized. I want to put the champion there, light the fire, and just Black artists, you can do it. You're important. You matter. Let's put your work out there, whatever you do. Artists, educators, teachers, just be the best you can be, do your best, and you will shine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
how is it working with the Crossing Borders kids? Because some of them performed in the Bossing It and Love Rhapsody EP with Richard, the lead choreographer. So how is it managing that project, Ife?
It was an honor to have Richard and Crossing Borders, who participated in my music video for Bossing It. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. There are some amazing dance moves that Richard has choreographed, and you'll see the Crossing Borders that I'm in charge of shine and do their thing. I'm just so proud of them. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See it, have it, can't stop now 'cause you want it. Look up, show up, yeah. Break up, break down, won't slow up or keep you down. Can't stop, won't stop now. 'Cause you know that it is the truth. Don't hold on to any who doubt. 'Cause nothing could ever stop you. Break right through to the top now. Yeah, you know that she bossing it. 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 They tell them no, you tell them yes. You know how to get through all this mess. No matter how, 'cause they will not ever be able to slow you down. The way she touched down, me love it like that. And she got me on top when she wind up my waistline. She gotta make it on her own right up. Sit on right top. She's a queen, she's a Gemini. 'Cause you know that it is the truth. Don't hold on to any who doubt. 'Cause nothing could ever stop you. Break right through to the top now. Yeah, you know that she bossing it. Yeah, you know that she bossing it. Yeah, you know that she bossing it. Yeah, you know that she bossing it.
I ain't second guessing. If you want it, you can get it. All you need is one mic, can change your life in a couple seconds. She be bossing, she be smart. She got paper in her palms. I saw the way she took it out. She lived and learned and got me hard. My G, everything lit. Nails there, course I'm in a car. If you got a friend, I got a friend. I'm good at keeping up. I don't know Pinocchio. I'd rather be Romeo. Cheaters never prosper. I hear it through my radio. One extra got me spinning. I'm just London boy living. What's your name? What you sipping? Man, I'm young and I'm kicking. Come on, I've invested in me before them. You see them water it. If not, you can.
'Cause nothing could ever stop you.
Richard Nkata,
Yeah.
the Mr. Men Champion winner and Black History winner for Performing Arts in 2017 or 18, I think. So,
Yeah,
Rich,
2017.
how is the movement thing? Because Arts Council are interested in artists like you know, who are doing dance, doing moves, inspiring the next generation. How was choreographing this piece?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for asking me to be a part of it. You could have asked anybody, but you asked me, so I'm grateful for that opportunity. And I just felt like first time I heard the song, I started thinking about just it's so empowering to women, especially like I was raised by a single mother because my dad died when I was really young. So I feel like we don't celebrate women as much as we should, especially being a Black woman. So there's a lot of women out there who work 3-4 jobs or maybe just one job, work overtime and stuff just to support their kids. And listening to that song and thinking about a woman who's bossing it, killing her own game and being independent is a powerful thing. So I heard the song and I was like, I definitely have to be a part of this. And yeah, I enjoyed it. And the Crossing Borders kids also loved it as well. They enjoyed every second of practice and performing it as well. So as you can see in the video itself, it was such high energy and it was really good. I was blessed to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you so much, Rich. And thank you. If you guys check it out, all the videos are going to be on YouTube, on live stream through the portals. And I'm sure that you will find Richard in the yellow jumper and absolutely killing it. He smashed some barriers. Now, at the very end, I just want to pay some thanks to people who have made today possible. I thank the First Minister and the Deputy Minister and Chief Whip. I thank every single person who has put even 5p into the program. I thank Arts Council Wales for their unstinting funding support for artists like Richard and others, like Alicia Scott and others who have performed today, Kyla Brox and the whole group, Kenzie and others, Concadelic, to perform. I want to thank every single time that you have encouraged us to keep going. I want to thank Keba Mane from Unison Black Members, who's also supported, Admiral, who've sponsored. We want to talk about you sponsors, British Army, including all the Royal Marines, the Royal Air Force, the Royal Navy, and the Brigadier Andrew Dawes of the Headquarters 160th Welsh Brigade, Colonel Jonah McGill, Major Peter Harrison, Royal British Legion, Ant Metcalfe, Area Manager Wales, Royal Commonwealth Society, Roger Verma, Museum of Military Medicine, Jason Simmons, Director, Cardiff Met University, Martin Smith, Equality and Diversity Officer, and Chantel Horton, the University of Wales, Trinity St. David, Coastal Housing, Roger Williams, Admiral Group PLC, Gurmit Singh, Ariana Weeks, Natasha Francis Thomas, the Police and Crime Commissioners for David Powers, the fabulous David Llewellyn, the Police and Crime Commissioner for South Wales, Alan Michael, Police and Crime Commissioner for Gwent, Jeff Cuthbert. We want to thank all the Black History partners so far, Literature Wales, Theatre Nandog, Royal Welsh Music, College of Music and Drama, Principal Helena Gaunt, Taliesin Arts Centre, Simon Coates, Pontio, Director, Ocean Gwyn, T-Pow, Director, Joe Marsh, Swansea Grand Theatre, Lead Director, Chris Mello, Strategic Manager for Arts, Culture and Creative Economy. Supporting presentation programs for universities and colleges from Bangor University, from Aberystwyth University, from Swansea University Student Union, the African Caribbean Medical Association, ACMA, Cardiff, and that's Ellen Nelson Rowe, the Windrush Camry Elders led by Auntie Roma Taylor and Vanessa Cyril, the wonderful brand new patrons, Geraldine Trotman, Nikki Delgado, Vanessa Cyril, Len Lawrence, Dr. Grace Carey, Elaine Clark, our Black History Wales champion, Rachel Clark. And we want to thank all the artists whose music we will watch on YouTube. One, Alicia Scott with Simon Parton on guitar, Kyla Brox and her band, Layla McKenzie and Ken's young musicians supporting through the Black History 365 Youth Music Project. Music recording by Skunkadelic, who's starting a food business in lockdown. And music recording by Ife Iwobi, featuring the voice of Anwar Siziba, performed by Richard Nkata and the Crossing Borders Youth Dance members, Queenie and Mave. I just want to thank all the staff of Race Council Cymru, the Black History Partnership, and I'm going to leave the very last word to Judge Singh, who's the chair of Race Council Cymru. But just before he comes on, I want to thank the committee members who continue to work without pay. And I'm hoping that, goodness me, somebody funds this organization and enables us to continue the work that we do. I want to thank the Deputy Minister and Chief Whip for providing the most essential funding for a marketing and communications officer and an administrator to take the pressure off the committee. This is a huge contribution from Welsh Government to the Black History Movement. Over to you, Judge Singh, and thank you everybody to the start. And here's to a whole year of activities.
Thank you very much, Uzo, for your hard work and excellent comparing. Well done. Black history is an important part of the diverse contributions and recognitions of what we are celebrating. My simple message is, let all our children learn about the Black history and help their parents, grandparents, cousins, friends understand that equality, tolerance, and inclusiveness is good for them, good for the society, good for Wales. And let's celebrate Black history each day for the rest of the year and onwards. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much, all.
Thank you very much. Please, if I didn't mention your name, can you not be offended, please? There's so many people today. I just want to thank the Lord Lieutenant Morfeth Meredith for staying to the very end with us, and all our guests, Lord David Ellis, who is the Minister for Culture, who joined us too, Julie Morgan, also the Deputy Minister for Health, all the ministers who made time today to say you matter, that matters to us. The Brigadier who spent the whole time with us as well and earmarked it in his calendar. And all our wonderful staff led by the wonderful planner extraordinaire, Kay Denia, the Director of Race Council, and our lovely Tony Osuji, who has launched an online tribute to the Windrush Elders in partnership with the Senedd Cymru, Senedd Parliament. Online today, you will see 10 stories from our Windrush Elders. We need to value the elders because they are not with us for long enough. I want us to please get together and celebrate the work the elders are doing and honor them in their lifetime, so they're not here when we read eulogies. So can we all make a conscious effort to celebrate all our elders? Thank you to every single person, the people who have been working on the COVID leadership, Judge Ray Singh, Professor Emmanuel Obonna, Professor Keshav Singhal, and all the Welsh Government people who are working to keep us safe. The health teams, please stay safe. COVID will never defeat us. We are bigger. We're going to boss it this year and pop into 2021 better and bigger than we are, well, slimmer, but bigger in stature than we are in 2020. God bless you, Wales. We love you. Diolch yn fawr. Braf cwrwd a chi. Hwyl fawr, hwyl. Now let's hear some music. Sorry, our technology failed on videos, but the rest, the joy is palpable. Can we have some music if it will work? And feel free to stay on and chat to people. But I know the elders are getting some hot food, so they're probably quick to rush off. And thank you to Menai and everyone for being with us. Thank you so much.
Bye everyone, lovely to see you all.
Bye, thank
Woo!
you. Bye.
You can unmute and talk a bit.
Bye bye.
Unmute and talk a bit.
Bye.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
people.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Roma.
Thank you.
Bye, Menai.
Thank you.
Thank you, so well done.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you.
Great program. Thanks to all. Fabulous. Uzo, congratulations.
Thank you, Carol Adams. Mama Vanessa, do you have something to say to us before we disappear? You haven't spoken today, Mama Vanessa. We gave you a break today. Yeah.
I only want to say 365 being a bear bug for all the years, just celebrating 1 month. But I know the story of the British culture, and I think they should know a story every day of the year. So that's been a big welcome. And thank you, Uzo, and your team for making it happen. Thank you very much. Wonderful day. I enjoyed it. I appreciated it.
Oh, thank you, Mama.
Wonderful to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And Pastor Barbara Paulette, we gave you a break today. Do you want to say something as people disappear? Yes. Our spokesperson.
No, it's been a great day. Lovely to sit and listen to everyone. It's been absolutely magnificent. And it's absolutely right. 365. That is what it's all about. It's been great. Thank you so much to you and all your team and all those who are involved. Really inspired me today to do a bit more as well, which is great. Thank you.
Thank you. And Audrey West, our Black History Artist Coordinator in North Wales. Audrey, do you want to say something?
I'd just like to say hello everyone and thank you so much for an inspiring launch, and well done Uzo, you've bigged us all up, and thank you for the inspiring words. We really need to move on from these. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Antonio Suji, can I just ask you, where can people find your online partnership project for the Windrush online with the Senate?
Yeah, so there should be a press release already out, but if you go onto the Senate social media, on their Twitter, their Facebook, their Instagram, even come onto the Race Council Cymru social media, and also if you just go onto the Senate website, then it should go live at 5, I believe. So
5 p.m. today, live.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Oh, okay.
It's going to be fantastic, and next year we'll have the full 60 stories.
Absolutely.
And it will be on display and touring across the whole of Wales. The elders will be touring. Auntie Roma, get excited now, because I know when you see the elders, you start getting excited. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Bye everyone. I really
Pastor
enjoyed
Hadassah.
Bye. Bye Roma.
Hi Liz.
Bye.
Steve Wubemi. Are you going to say some words about Nigerian Independence Day? Steve Wubemi.
Yeah, congratulations, Nigeria, and thank you everyone for coming by today. It was simply amazing. Well done, everybody. Well done. God bless you.
And I hope my parents-in-law managed to log on. They are 89 and 90, and we're determined to log on and join us. A big, big thank you to all of you. Pastor Hadassah, did you have a few words to say?
Well, thank you, Uzo. I just want to say it's been a fantastic launch. I'm just so pleased that through your tenacity and encouragement and knowledge and drive, we're now Black History Wales 365. Woo! So brilliant, everybody, all the speakers, so inspirational. Looking forward to all the activities throughout the year. Thank you, Uzo, you are fabulous.
Oh, bless you, Pastor Hadassah. God bless every single person. Elaine, we love you, and your mother is our icon. We love her. And the day the statue goes up,
well, let's
Wales
hope so next year.
Our cheer. We will have the big cheer.